Shark Sports Wrap here on 640 AM. Tony Segreto with you. Now talking, I'll tell you, my new favorite sport. My new favorite sport, and I check online about how we're doing in rowing. And Mary Lenington is here, the head women's rowing coach. And we have Lauren Boudreau, who's a junior, who on Wednesday night at the sports banquet was voted the most valuable teammate on the rowing team. We'll get to Lauren in just a minute, but you win the Sunshine State Conference. You're getting ready to go now to the big event in Philadelphia, and that will determine whether we go to the national championships. Wow. 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 I mean, for those of you who may be watching online, if you're listening to us live this morning, obviously you're not watching online because she's got the biggest smile on her face, she's blushing, and she is about as thrilled as I've ever seen her. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did all this hard work, and I know that these girls have really put in a lot of time, the satisfaction you get from winning this first stage to where you ultimately want to get to has to be just an amazing feeling for you.
You know, the winning is always, it's fun. It's absolutely a great reward, and it is reaffirming the work that we've done. So it is like one more step in the process. It's great to celebrate, and especially for how much it means to the women. They've kept their eye on how important the Sunshine State Conference is to them and to us. And but you know, really, it's not always about the winning. You know, it is about them just going out and performing their best, because we spent the entire week last week talking about the race in Tennessee and just the concept of what's good enough, and like, is it good enough just to win if you're not doing your best? And I just asked the women to go out on Sunshine State Conference and do their best and not settle for good enough and push for as much. If they were going to win by as much as you can.
Congratulations on the MVP award. That had to be what a surprise to you, from what I gathered.
Yes, it was awesome. I'm so thankful for my team to think so highly of me, and I think that's the most rewarding part of the whole experience.
You're a junior from upstate New York.
Yes.
You unlike the rower we had last week, who was recruited as a volleyball player to come here and play and row. You have been a rower since the 7th grade. Your sister's a rower. She's at Amherst.
Yep.
And she's rowing there. Rowing has been your life. So as you find yourself on the cusp of what could be something pretty special here, how does all this fit into your life and what you've been able to accomplish?
It's all part of the experience. Every time, there's been other opportunities in my career where we've had the shot at chasing Goliath. You know what I mean? And I view that as our national championship. You've got this team that has been reigning national champions for years, and we've got a shot. You know what I mean? So, out of all the experiences I've had, it all comes down to now. What I've learned in the past is so prevalent to our future.
What's interesting to me, Mary, all the rowers I've met, and I just saw one coming into the building, every one of your rowers is upbeat, positive. Their eyes are wide open. There's and not a swagger, just this confidence and it's almost as if they can see and feel the goal and embrace it already. That's the sense I get. Do you feel that too?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying. You earn confidence in some ways, right? Like, you don't want it to be a false sense, and they're not cocky by any means, but they're excited about what they're doing. They feel really well supported, and so that gives them enough peace in everything else that they're doing that they can walk around not feeling necessarily like something's about to take them.
Right. Well, let's talk about the Sunshine State and how you won that, and let's talk a little bit about the races that you've competed in. And we were talking off air, and I think it'd be real interesting to the listeners and to those of us watching online. When you win by a certain amount, in rowing, if you win by 4/100ths of a second,
yeah,
is that like you're winning by the scrape of the paint? Kind of.
And I know you're a horse racing fan. The Derby's coming up.
Yeah.
It's the winning by a nose. It's
right.
The winning by a nose.
Right.
Or wait, is that a nose? The whole horse's head?
No, the nose is the nose.
The nose.
Yeah. Okay. A head is a head. If you win by the head, you win by the
right. 4/100ths of a second is winning by the nose.
Okay, so tell me about the wins you've had, what you expect coming up, and for example, if you win by 8 seconds.
Right. Well, I tell the women, and I was excited to tell you that I became a huge basketball fan this year, and so I came up with the correlation that every second in rowing is like 2 points in a basketball game. So if you win by 1 second, it's like winning by 2 points, which is a pretty solid close game. You know, it's not winning by 1 point in the last second. So 1 second is 2 points, and you know, a whole boat, like an 8 boat length, is about a 4 second distance. So that 55, 57 feet of an 8, that's how long an 8 is, that's about 4 seconds to row through somebody that's trying their best. And you know, this is a good average, good thing to wrap your head around. So if you win by 4 seconds, if you win by just a little over 4 seconds, you win by what we call open water.
Right.
And so you have that boat length plus just an inch of open water. That's enough of a solid win. Like that's a lead. Mm-hmm. Anything under 4 seconds is a pretty close race. Anything way over 4 seconds, if you win by 8 seconds, 10, 15 seconds, which some races, once you get ahead of someone, they can't see you. Mm-hmm. So you have the advantage.
Right.
And so once you win by more than a boat length of open water, or once you're open water, you have a great advantage to keep taking open water. And that's a solid win. Anything over 4 seconds, I'd say, is a solid win. If you win by more than 8, that's dominance.
So what did we win by at the conference?
Just over 10 seconds.
Impressive.
They rode well.
Right. So now, this is interesting. When you're in the league, you're talking about you don't know how much you're behind. Is that correct?
Well, you have your coxswain trying to tell you,
right,
but you can't see it.
So as a rower, you can't even kind of turn your head to the left or the right, can you, to kind of check it out? Because if you do, that slows you down, even if it's a millisecond, correct?
Yes.
So that has to be difficult. It's sort of like knowing you have a text message and not looking at it.
In a way it is. The situation that we had on Saturday at conference, we were far enough ahead to the point where the other crew wasn't out of our peripheral. It was in front of us, so we could see behind our coxswain where they were. When it is a tight situation, like I had experienced in the Varsity 4 race at the FIRA a couple weeks ago, we didn't see the other boat. They were ahead of us, and we caught up and went through them. So that was totally our coxswain saying, okay, I'm at this position on the boat, let's go through them now.
You have coming up in another week and a half in Dad Vail, Philadelphia, right? Is the Dad Vail Regatta in
Mm-hmm.
Philly. First of all, and let me paint this picture that I'm just kind of aware of now. I remember going to Omaha, Nebraska for the College World Series. And the reason it was in Omaha for all those years is because it was the central location, you know, east-west.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to Omaha, and literally for those 2 weeks, Omaha would shut down. It would just be College World Series. That's it. That's it in the town. My understanding is that's what's going to happen in a couple of weeks when you go up to Dad Vail, correct?
That's true. I mean, a whole Kelly Drive gets shut down. I mean, Philly's a huge city, but they have Boathouse Row. They have a lot of history in rowing, and so they close down Kelly Drive, and over 100 schools go to the Dad Vail Regatta of all divisions and levels, all college for this weekend, and it's huge. And you know, parents and fans come out, and it is an incredible experience and a lot of history. This regatta, and I wish I knew the date. It's been going on for a long, long time.
So tell me about what we can expect.
Well, it's a tricky course because there's a current. There's a dogleg in it, which means there's a little turn, and usually we try to race 2,000 meters straight. So, and I haven't even told the women we haven't gotten as far to prepare the women who've not been to this regatta. When you're sitting on the starting line, instead of being straight across, it's kind of like on a track where you have a stagger, depending on your lanes, because once you come through the bridge, the Strawberry Mansion Bridge, on the Schuylkill, once you go through the bridge,
like a Beatles song. Go ahead.
It does. It all evens out, and then it's just plow to the finish line, and there can be a lot of different current and wind and rain, and it's, you know, the Northeast in the spring, so you never know what to expect, except there's going to be a lot of people there, and you know, the Philadelphia crews take a lot of pride on that being their river, and it's their river to defend, and they are the boss on that river, and so you have to give some respect to that, and at the same time take your presence and command your boat. So our coxswains will be very challenged to organize themselves, steer their crew, and stay very prepared for anything, because it's just so many crews. We're alone on our intercoastal, except for the occasional $1 million yacht that goes by. Right. But on the Schuylkill, they deal with every day. You have Temple and Penn and St. Joe's and Drexel and all these schools. Then that's just the colleges. Then you have your high school and your club and your pre-elite rowers all on the same waterway trying to get their piece of of it. So it's going to be a lot for the team to manage.
So what do we need to do to get to the NCAAs?
We need to show strong for our region, which is the South Central region, and we've done that so far. So in a way,
Will you tell me how that works?
Sure, we're defending our regional bid right now. 4 schools, like teams, which is an 8 and a 4, will go to the national championships for Division II. And of those 4 teams, 3 of them come automatically out of your region, so you get a bid. The West Coast will get a bid, the East Coast will get a bid, and then the South Central region will get a bid. And then there's a 4th team that will go that is the at-large. So out of those 3 regions, the next strongest. And so it just depends on how deep your region is. And then there'll be a couple of just at-large 8s, meaning you don't go as a team with your 8 and your 4, and that's what comprises our national championship. And to hold on to the bid, we need to perform solidly at the Dad Vail. We've already set ourselves up to be the regional bid based on our racing up to this point, but the Dad Vail's is another chance. And there's one West Coast school coming. It's not their top team. The top West Coast schools haven't traveled east or to the South Central, so cross-regionally there's not a great comparison. I guess the one school that is challenging us for our bid is, at this point, looks like University of Central Oklahoma. That's a program with also a new head coach and a gentleman that I know and respect. He's done a great job with his team as a first-year coach and going out west and then coming east. I mean, he's in the middle of the country with no other Div 2 schools. Well, I think no other Div 2 schools, few. And he's just gone back and forth to get a lot of competition. And, you know, to the credit, that takes a lot to take your student athletes from coast to coast. I mean, it's a great experience, but you're also students and you have to take care of all your work. So they've done a lot to challenge for that bid, and we're really going to have to show up in a big way because they want the bid as much, and they've worked pretty hard for it. And hopefully we can both go. It's up to the regional committee, but hopefully we can both go. It just depends on if everyone's doing their homework.
Mother's Day weekend is going to be a big one in Philadelphia. Are you excited?
I'm very
Needless
excited.
to say, yeah.
I can't wait.
I bet. Well, listen, we are pulling for you, and I'll tell you what, you have a brand new fan in rowing. I can't tell you. I've been reading about it, and it's a sport that fascinates me, from its synchronicity to its athletic prowess, to how strong you have to be and how focused you have to be. It really does encompass all of those things that make the athlete successful. You know, focus, determination, the passion, and all of that. So best of luck. Obviously teamwork. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The synchronicity of all of this is absolutely unbelievable. Mary, as always, great to see you.
Thank you.
Best of luck. I could not be happier for you. You've brought a lot to this program. And Lauren, it's a pleasure meeting you, upstate New Yorker. And you found your way south. Who would have ever thought you'd find your way south? Huh?
Not me.
You're listening to the Sharp Sports Wrap here on 640 AM. We'll be right back.